Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm
Is
able to
this
hear
good?
you, but it's a little bit low. We can manage it, no problem.
Okay, now give me a second. Let me try to increase the voice, please. Okay, is this any better?
Same result.
Okay, okay. Just give me a second. Let me disconnect and rejoin. Is this better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Okay. I was opening your resume.
Mhm.
Can you please turn on your video as well? Please, you have 10 plus years of experience in C#.net. Okay, you have mentioned about the Microsoft Azure. Do you have a hands-on experience with Azure, or it's like the project which you are working on into that was deployed into Azure?
Yeah, we are using SaaS as a service and platform as a service as well in my applications.
But have you worked on the actual deployment of those services and all in the Microsoft Azure,
Yeah,
or there was a separate team?
we have a separate team is there. Like for all non-prods, we have an access. For the prods, they will be going to take care of whatever the artifacts and the YAML files which have been provided to them. They will try to. We have a separate team is also there, and for non-prods, we have everything is in access.
Okay, so you worked with REST APIs and the Web APIs both. Again, a similar question is: you have a hands-on experience of actually, you know, developing the Web APIs and REST services, or you have consumed those?
We have in our projects in ERP, we have both the cases. We have developed the web APIs and we have consumed the web APIs with the different security patterns which they implemented. I have the since 4.5 years I worked on this same project, right? We have a number of flows and number of clients are there. The same time they have their own APIs and sometimes we have to develop the APIs to consume the data from the customer side.
Okay, okay. And quick question. It looks like you changed almost
Mhm.
eight companies.
Not eight
It's like
companies, only three companies. This is the
okay. These are the clients which you have worked with.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Sorry for that. I got confused. Okay. Start with few basic things. But before that, one last question from my side. Do you have any hands-on experience with WCF?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah,
So
but
you have.
that is into the previous company, not current company. But I know that what is the how the implementation data contract and operation contract and the different the endpoints we can configure. Yeah, I need to brush that 1 or 2 days to work on. But yeah, I worked on WCF as well.
Okay. Okay. And Ram, this is your first interview or this is your second interview?
Second interview. They are saying that it's a managerial round.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we are on same page.
Okay.
Okay. And this is for the
Deepika
senior
Talpe.
developer position. So you're clear on the roles and responsibilities for this, or
Yeah,
do
it's
you want
clear.
me to share it once?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. So let's start with
Mhm.
a couple of basic things, right? So
Okay.
uh, okay, let's start with very basic things. Okay,
Mhm.
web APIs you worked with,
Okay.
and you have also worked with WCF services,
Mhm.
right? If I ask you that we want to develop an application,
Mhm.
okay, and where we want to develop the services,
Mhm.
which one would be your default choice, WCF or web APIs?
Yeah, it depends on the requirement. The requirement in terms of they have that multiple clients they want to use the TCP and the KMQP and different protocols, right? Based on the requirement, based on the we can choose whether the same service were used by the multiple consumers in terms of different protocols. Then I will go with the WCF. Otherwise, like everyone nowadays, everyone using the HTTP, right? We have the different the security mechanisms was implemented in Web API 2.4. Then it depends on the number of clients and requirements. Everyone is using for the same protocol irrespective of whatever they are using in the platform, and we can develop we can choose a web API. Otherwise the same thing we can multiple ports needed for the same part of the code, we can go with the WCF.
So what if, okay, if I say that we need to develop the services which will be hosted with HTTPS protocol only,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is no requirement of TCP/IP name pipe or something.
Okay.
So in that case, what one would be your
Web API,
approach?
Web
Still
API is the
web
best.
APIs or
Web API is the best solution.
okay? So okay, so why web APIs? I mean, why not even the REST services? Why web APIs?
Why not even the REST service in the sense if you want to have that the flexibility, the web API it has to be do that all the model conversions and all the data annotations and bindings can be taken care by the framework itself. If you want to choose the WCF, we have to do the everything in terms of the contract, and we have to define the properties, and we have to share that XSD to the client. The client will be the in terms of the development side, the WCF it will take more complex compared to the web API.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. One point is okay. I agree that WCF is a bit complex and you need to define the contracts for
Yes,
everything which you
yes,
do.
yes, yeah.
Okay. What else? What else you think that okay, VPS has an advantage over
Okay.
WCF?
Coming to the security wise, we can able to have that like exception handling, global exception handling, and all the things, and we can also configure our own jar token and all the things. Is very flexible in terms of the implementation wise. In WCF, they have their own transport mechanism, and they have their own security. It is very a bit difficult to add it as adding a new security on top of the WCF.
Okay. Okay. So you have worked with Microsoft Azure. I am assuming that in that case you have developed web APIs and hosted
Okay.
in Azure.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Is that the right understanding?
Yeah, we have used the platform as a service. We have hosted in instance, shared instance.
Okay, and it's an app service which you hosted into,
No,
or
no,
it's an Azure VM?
Azure VMs.
Okay, so you have Azure VM where you have maybe a Windows Server OS and maybe IIS, and
Correct.
under that you
Yeah,
hosted your web APIs,
correct,
correct?
correct.
So why Azure VM? Why not app services?
Yeah, app services also we can use, but this was developed since 6 years back. They are following with the same thing, and now we are trying to convert that monolith application to the microservices, and we have converted it to microservices, and services was hosted in the Azure Kubernetes services based in the deployment and services.
Okay, okay. So you just mentioned that you're converting a monolith into a microservices,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
So what is exact stage? What are you exactly doing?
Doing in terms of it's a monolith application, everything in terms of a module wise we are separating each one responsibility to the some microservices like a vendor service, identity service, and invoice service, dispatch service, and inventory service. Presently, this was in a monolith application, and based on the module wise which was developed, we are trying to converting that monolith application and web API like MEC controllers to microservices by using the .NET Core 3.1.
Okay. So uh, okay, so you're trying to convert them into web APIs which you can host it with .NET Core.
Okay.
But then to convert a monolith into web API, is it mandatory that it needs to be developed into a .NET Core or must be hosted into Azure App Service only?
Yeah, that is yeah. It depends on the tech stuff. We have that architect from the client side. The client side architect will decide whether it can be hosted in the app services or Azure Kubernetes. But we have the few of the services which is also hosted in the app services. Yeah, they have facing some issues in terms of their technical point of view and their point, like the invoice or the cost point of view. Maybe they have chosen a decision to convert this application to the microservices as an Azure Kubernetes, but the decision making is not in our hand as a service based organization. We have to follow that, and we have to suggest that if you are using this one, you will get benefited. But we are doing some POCs, but yeah, it's up to the client side. Its decision making is client side only. We don't have any decision.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, in this case, it is the client who is taking the decision. What I'm asking is, what would be your choice?
Yeah, my
I
choice
mean,
is it's
what do you think that
yeah.
if you are converting a monolithic application monolith into a microservices, so in that particular case, is it mandatory to have a .NET Core 3.1 or .NET Core only with services hosted or the web API is hosted into what you say app services only?
It's depends on the context. Like if you want to it's auto scaling and all the things also supported in the app services, Azure app services. But it depends on the what are the features we want to get it. If you want to use that Azure Kubernetes, it will automatically trying to will specify the number of replicas. If it is number of replicas, it will try to create in two parts only. It will not go into the more parts or more nodes. In app services, it will automatically increase the number of based on the Azure app service plan. It is trying to increase the how many number of instance we have. I think here I will. It's like if you have that multiple like the functionality and a single microservices want to communicate with that like in terms of Azure Service Bus, in terms of other communicators like RabbitMQ and other things. If you hosted our application in Azure App Services, it is very difficult to open the communication board between the services to other service.
Okay, okay. Uh, Okay, let's consider a scenario. We have a web application.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you have mainly worked with a web application.
Okay.
There is a website which is developed into Angular. It's the latest Angular version, Angular 11, Yes, version 11. It has a web APIs in the background and a Microsoft SQL database. Okay. And there are few file storages for the file operations perspective. This is a employee management system. Okay. With a multi-tenant database. Okay. You develop this product, you posted it, and there are thousands of customers and their users are using this particular application as of now. Okay. Okay. On one fine day, you started receiving multiple emails and the calls from the customers or their representatives that when they log in, the dashboard page itself is not loading up, where you list down the list of employees for that given customer. Okay. Okay. So basically, what this application does is you have the application for the employee management and you sell it for the different customers. Like you have sold it for Google, Infosys, TCS, Facebook, Cognizant, right? Multiple companies you have sold it out and they are utilizing this particular application for the employee data management perspective. Okay. So their employees can also log in, their administrator or the HR members can also log in. Okay. Okay. On one fine day, what happened is multiple customers reported that their users are not able to perform any action in this website because their dashboard page itself is not loading. Okay. So my question is, what are the things you will try out? Okay. To reach to a root cause. I'm not asking you what is the root cause. What I'm asking is, what are things you will try out to reach to root cause? Okay. I will try to check. First of all, I need to try to get the logs. If there is any logs are there for a particular login page or while redirecting the dashboard, I will try to get the logs first, and I will try to check the database is available. Like if some of the reason the database is not able to then active state, I will try to check. First of all, I need to get that logs. Second step is I need to check is there is any exception is happening or any exceptions are logged in the particular application. We need to identify whether the request is coming to the particular resources or not. First of all, we need to identify the request is come to this particular service. The request is came to the service. After that, whether the request is goes to the database services or not. We will try to check based on the exception. We will try to check whether the database is in active state or inactive state. We'll try to discuss with the DBAs and try to identify if there is any issues on the DBA side. If there is any of the application was goes down on the DBA side or any of the services goes down. If everything is fine in the their end, if may have that in terms of the unhandled exception is happening because of the recent build, if there is any recent build is happening for the one of the feature was implemented, this is causing an issue. We will try to check is any impacting of the recent the services or the recent code is getting an issue in terms of the application or the dashboard is not loading. In terms of if everything is goes fine and we are able to log in and the database is inactive, while we are checking into the client side, if we have any JS issue is happening because of the recent build is happening, we need to clear the cache from the developer like the client side. If any of the changes is happening on JS or Angular or some of the scripting, it is not loaded properly. We need to try to identify it in the fourth case. These are all the steps we have to perform it before giving any of the answer to the clients. Then only we came to know that what is an issue, how to fix that issue, and we will try to, if we have an access, we will try to log into our username and password with a reader access and try to check it, try to resolve that issue on the given point of a time. Okay. Have you been part of any the 7 kind of an issue? Yeah, yeah, because in the 4.5 years we have if there is any issue, like I know that in and outflow of the application, right? They are also involving in the P1 blocker issue resolution team also.
I will be there in involving and try to identify if there is any data issue in terms of the data might be the different with one user to other user, or is a kind of application issue, is a kind of performance issue, it's a kind of the load balancer issue, as an infrastructure team is also involving there. Yeah, I am in the part of the team as well. Okay,
Okay, okay, that's good. Um, can you tell me, I mean, throughout your career, not in the current project or the
okay.
last project, what are the 10 years you have been working, right? 10
Mm-hmm.
plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me which was your toughest problem to solve?
Yeah, toughest problem in terms of yeah, I have been facing as a presently I'm as a team lead because of the COVID situation. Like we don't know, some of the employees is got affected, and we have a delivery deadline, and we have to achieve the delivery deadline with the less number of people. In this case, the tough situation is in the sense that we have promised the client as the release for the one of the big epic and story, and one of the key resources was one of the key resources was affected, and one of the key resources, the family is affected, they have to take care of the family. In this situation, I have been facing a toughest situation in terms of releasing the deadline. In those cases, what we have done is we have discussed with internally of the team members, and we have taken help from the other team members, and to extend our works and to extend the over a weekend to achieve the some sort of the solution. We have identified what are the necessary steps, necessary functionality needed by the client. We have discussed the same thing to the clients, like 70 to 80% of the complex functionality we can deliver as part of this release, and 20% of the functionality we can able to achieve by using the hot fix. In terms of instead of waiting the next release, we can also release to the next week. Every week we have an hot fix build, we can complete it next to 20% of the functionality through hot fix. In terms of hotfix, in terms of it has to be the functionality has to be deployed by every week. We have that release plan, and we have a weekly plan. If there is anything which was showstopper from the business, we have to release by the weekly also.
Okay. So this was the toughest one from the meeting the timeline first,
Correct,
right?
correct.
This wasn't a difficulty because the technically it was difficult. Correct?
Okay.
Right? Understand?
Hmm.
Okay. 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 Let's consider that we are building a new team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am part of your team. You are leading this particular team. You are tech lead, and I am part of this team as a developer.
Okay.
Okay. If I ask you that, what are your definitions of a good code? What would be your answer? What things you think about?
Yeah, good code in terms of we have to focusing on different perspective. If you write a code, you should not break in existing functionality. If it is a new project or an existing project, right? If you have the new function task came, it should, because of the new code or new block of the code, it should not existing that existing functionality. That is one thing we have to focus it. The code in terms of the reusability, and we have to follow the some good naming standard. A good naming standard in terms of we have to give the some sort of KT to the developer before starting the developing. We have to give what is the naming standard, what is the code qualities which we are following. We have to give that some KT, and we have to ask them to make them as some reusable component which is already there in the present system. Try to implement the reusable code in terms of like that. Otherwise, what it will happen is, if you are not working as a reusable code, the same kind of code which is already available, like in terms of calling the stored procedure by using the SQL DAP, or calling the stored procedure by using the ADO.NET. If we think and it will implement it in the different way, we have to check how the code was implemented in that existing project, and he has to follow the same naming standard. If some in future, if you want to change as a repository as in other database, it has to be supportable, like that the code has to be reusability, it should be there. We have to follow the naming standards. It should not breaking an existing thing, like minimal the bugs we can expect, not than that p1 blockers or it should not break an existing thing like null handling and unused reference variables. We don't want to make it as in the code, and we have to remove that warnings as much as possible into the application. If all the things has to be considering as a good quality of code as a team lead.
Okay. Um, okay, I have couple of follow-up points. Okay, first one is then let's consider you are a developer.
Okay.
I am a QA member, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are things you currently do to, you know, deliver a quality code to me to perform the next set of testing? What you do it from your side?
Yeah, we have to do that some unit testing, and we have to take as an input of an acceptance criteria in the document which they mention in the BRD. We have to follow that what are the acceptance criteria, what is the user input value, what is the expected value, which is coming from that the functionality which has been developed as part of this current task. It has to be follow that input criteria, and the output has to come as an expected result. If we are getting some unexpected behavior, we will try to fix it, and we will try to discuss with the BAs whether it is a correct behavior or expected behavior or that unexpected behavior. We will try to fix it as part of the BRD document. We have to first of all we have to do the unit testing cases as part of acceptance criteria, as well as high level with the like not a small data, like huge data in terms of someone will test like inserting one employee data, and we will try to get it. We will also think about the performance standpoint of view. If you load that multiple records of the data into the database with the different clients of the same database, we need to think about the performance point of view, as well as we have to think as an acceptance criteria. And these are all the things. Even though if we are getting the valid input, we are getting in unexpected behavior, we will try to see that as part of VRD we have implemented, but we are getting unexpected behavior. We will try to discuss with the BS, and we will try to attach the document in terms of the project management tools, Jira or any other tools, and we will try to get that more clarification. Then QA team will get it know the document and all the things before they started testing.
Okay. So, what is your goal? I mean, do you want to get into tech lead managerial side, or maybe towards the architecture?
Towards the architecture, I have a plan of taking the Azure Architect certification in next couple of months, in terms of like
Okay.
6 months, and I have a goal 303 first, and after that 303 first and 304 next.
Any specific reason? I mean, why do you want to go for
Yeah,
the architecture?
because yeah, I want to give a solution for a problem statement. If everyone will getting interested on giving the solution as a high level, but I want to give the solution by using the latest technologies for the client problem statement. I want to make the client happy. I want to get that more technical things in terms of my career growth, as well as company standpoint of view.
Okay. But then what if I tell you that if you become a manager, still, the technical part is still there.
Yes,
So
still
unless
there,
until you
but
understand it,
compared to architect, the technical part is like I can say 50%. 50% of the team management, 50% of the pre-sales, and like 20 to 30% of the technical things. But if you go with that technical architect and the project technical related things, it is like 70 to 80% related to the technical stuff only. I'm more looking into the technical things rather than the project management activities.
okay. Yes, I'm pretty much done from my side. Do you have any specific questions or doubt you want to ask?
Do you know what is the technical skills or tech staff or tech stacks you are looking for?
Yeah, yes, I'll tell you. Okay, sorry, you're asking something else as well.
And what is the project? Is it a new project or the existing project? Or I want to know these things.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. So the first thing is technology stack. So we use mainly a .NET technology stack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whatever Microsoft offers, almost everything we utilize it from the Microsoft Excel till the Microsoft Azure's latest Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We utilize almost everything
Mm-hmm.
from the development point of view. We do have APIs developed in .NET Core. We have WCF services. We have REST services. We do have desktop applications. We have web applications. We have ASP.NET applications. We have applications where the way we consider the UI developed into Angular,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the backend is into the .NET Web APIs, ASP.NET Web APIs with SQL database.
Mm-hmm.
In some projects, we are not only restricted on using the SQL database, we do use the Cosmos DBs and all as well. Right? So it depends on the product which we are working upon. The technology stack might change, but almost everywhere we use the .NET for the Microsoft store.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, from the roles and responsibilities point of view for this particular project or what this particular project is, so we do have a product called CSH Access, which is a suite of products.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not a single product; it's a suite of products. There are multiple large number of products of sizable traffic are part of this particular product. Okay, and we need some passionate candidates who are passionate about the technology or passionate about the solving a problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
who can solve some of our big problems of high scalability, high availability, or end-to-end telemetry,
Mm-hmm.
plus the resiliency point of view. Or we want to take this particular application is currently hosted in Azure VMs,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you want to convert them into where we can host them into Kubernetes
Mm-hmm.
or app services. Okay, so we need the strong candidates who can learn and understand that what is the right choice of solution for this particular problem, and they can take us through that.
Okay.
So this particular product, so basically we are not a service provider or a service based company. We are a product based company, and we have our own set of products which we develop and sell it to our customers.
Okay.
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 So
I got that.
this is okay. So this is what the details are. Any additional things?
No. No. Okay. That. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Ram, for your time. And yep. Goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Bye.